We're talking about dryness. So, for the entire month of August, we are focusing on those of you that are dealing with hair that is chronically dry, extremely dry. You feel like you can't get it moisturized enough, or you're trying all these different products or these different routines and methods and watching videos, and you still feel like you can't get to the bottom of your dryness. Okay. Um, so that's what we are covering specifically today. Now, again, the whole month is about moisture and dryness, but today we want to break it down just a little bit and give you some good information to help you get started um, on your journey. Okay. So, again, if you're watching live or you're watching the replay, thank you for being here. Let me know in the chat where you are watching from. All right. And let me know how your hair is doing today, friend. How is your hair doing today? All right. Again, we are talking about one of the biggest issues in Black hair care. So, a lot of the women that I have talked to or dealt with are frustrated with, many of them are frustrated with the same things. Aside from hair growth, because everybody wants their hair to grow, one of the roadblocks that people experience in that journey is dryness. Okay, because we know that if your hair is dry, it's probably weak, it's probably brittle, and so it's breaking, and you're not getting the full length of your hair as it grows because it's continuing to break because it's dry, right? It's just one reason. That's not the only thing. All right. So you may feel like you're, again, following all the steps, doing all the things, but your hair either still feels rough, it feels like straw, it feels crispy, all of that stuff. It looks dry when you look in the mirror. A lot of times we want to see that shine, that external shine and gloss that helps us believe in our minds that our hair is moisturized, but many times we know we're not seeing that. Okay, we'll talk about what's really going on with that. And I'll teach you how fixing it is easier than you probably think once you have the process right. Okay, so it's all about process. Now, before we get started, those of you that may be seeing me for the first time, my name is Kendra. I am the founder of 180 Hair, and I help women over the age of 40 transform their hair health using holistic solutions. Okay, now let's get into this content. So first things first, I can't tell you how many times I've heard this. Kendra, I oil my scalp every single day, but my hair is still dry. And I get it, okay? You're doing something. You're putting in effort, but here's the truth of that. One step alone will never solve dryness, okay? And we're going to get into the why and the how of that. So if you are oiling your scalp or oiling your hair or buttering your hair down and it still feels dry, I want you to understand that oils and butters do not moisturize. Oil is not moisture. So let's break that down really quick. Water is the only true form of moisture, okay? It's the thing that actually penetrates the hair shaft and hydrates it from the inside out. So I don't even want to say that water is moisture. Water is really hydration. Water is really the thing that can get inside your hair shaft or your hair strands or in those cuticles to hydrate from the inside out. Because you have to remember that your hair strand is not just a strand. On a microscopic level, there are cuticles, okay? And depending on your porosity, your cuticles are either tightly stacked or a little bit open. And then even inside of those cuticles, what those cuticles are protecting is the internal part of your hair strand. So there's a lot going on. Okay, I won't get into too much of the science of it, but you need water to protect those inner layers. That's what keeps your hair strong. Now, oils and butters, they work like a lid on a pot. So if you think about having a pot, the oils and butters work like the lid of the pot. They keep what's inside from evaporating, okay? But if the pot is empty, if you don't have any water or any liquid in the pot, then you're just putting a lid on air. You're putting a lid on nothing, okay? And so here's the other part we don't often think about. Many times, or many of us grew up with equating shine with moisture, okay? Those of us that are over 40 or in our 50s and 60s, you think about growing up as a kid. A lot of times our parents just used grease, oiled our scalp with grease. That grease made our hair look really, really shiny. And so I think from that experience, we equate the shine with moisture. Okay, so if your hair looks glossy after oiling it, after as an adult, we think, oh, it's good, it's hydrated, right? Or it's moisturized. But shine just means that the surface is shiny, or the surface looks, it just makes the surface look smooth. It doesn't really tell you what's going on inside the strand. So again, that's why I get the question or the comment or the response, Kendra, my hair looks healthy or it looks shiny, but it's still breaking. And that's because, or it's still shedding. And that's because moisture isn't just about appearance, it's about the internal flexibility. So without the water or internal or the inner hydration to the actual hair shaft or hair strand, the hair is still brittle. No matter how shiny it looks, it can still break off. Okay. So, how do you get the right kind of hydration into your hair? And how do you make sure it stays there? That's a whole other conversation. Okay. I have a course that's starting in 2 weeks. It's called Moisture Mastery. Okay. And I'm giving you all of the details inside of that course. It's going to be a 3-day course where we go over specific things that you should be doing to make sure your hair stays dry, create the habits that your hair needs, make sure your hair stays dry, create the habits that your hair needs to stay moisturized, keep your hair from being dry, and keep yourself hydrated from the inside out. Okay. But for now, I want you to remember that those oils, butters, and grease, and all of those things, those are step 2, not step 1. Okay, we're going to talk about step 1 in a second. Now, here's something that probably confuses a lot of people, or people don't think that they're 2 different things, and that's hydration versus moisture. They're not the same. Hydration is water or water like or water based ingredients that actually get into the hair strand. Okay, so you can get hydration from things like water, aloe juice, humectants like glycerin or honey or panthenol. All those things are water or water based ingredients. Okay, that's where you get your hydration from. Hydration can be found in a product. Okay, again, for example, these are your water based leave-in conditioners, your water based products. Moisture, on the other hand, is not necessarily a product, it's a process. Moisture is the process of keeping that hydration in the strand long enough for the hair to benefit from it. So, moisturizing is not just about what's inside of the jar that you use, okay? It's about the order you apply it or apply your products in, how you seal them in, and how often you repeat the cycle. So that's where you get your moisture from. So remember, hydration is your water or your water-based products, and moisture is the process. Moisture is a process of keeping the hydration or the water in. Moisture is not a product, okay? But I understand that products have or use the word moisturizing or moisture on the label. You can't just take their word for it. You have to look at the first 3 to 5 ingredients. Okay, so if water or aloe juice or something hydrating is in there and it's paired with oils and butters further down in the list, then you're probably looking at a product that can actually help with both hydration and sealing. Okay, so that is a true moisturizing ingredient or a true moisturizing product. Now, if the first few ingredients on something that's labeled moisturizing is just oils, then it's probably not moisturizing. Okay, that's just sealing what's already in there, which is nothing. Okay, now marketing is not regulated in the hair care, is not regulated. Marketing for hair care is not regulated. Let me just say that. So you have to check the label. Now, legally, companies are supposed to list ingredients on the label from the most prevalent to the least. That means whatever ingredient that product has the most of should be listed first, and then down to the least will be at the bottom of the list. So legally they're supposed to do that. I won't say that everybody does or everybody fully discloses what's in the product, but you will at least have an idea, okay? Because if a moisturizing product is truly moisturizing, again, water or water-based ingredients will be like the first 3 to 5 ingredients in the list, okay? It has to have more water than oil. And so again, inside the Moisture Mastery course, we'll talk exactly about what to look for on the label. So there are some specific ingredients that you should be looking for or that you should learn to recognize, especially based on your hair's porosity. Your hair's porosity is going to be what determines a lot of your moisturizing or hydrating practices, okay? It's going to determine what you need to use to keep your hair from being dry, right? But just know, if you get nothing else from this live, okay? If you get nothing else from this video, I want you to remember water first, then seal. Okay, that's moisturizing 101. That's I don't want my hair to be dry no more 101. Moisturize with a water-based product, hydrate with a water-based product, and then seal. Those two things together create moisture. All right. Now, next thing. So this is something else. This is a myth or a thing. I don't want to call it a myth. That a lot of us have probably heard or been told or been taught. All right. And that is washing your hair too much makes it dry, especially for my African American, my Black people. Okay. I was told that a lot too. If your hair is dirty, dirty hair grows. All right. I'm sure somebody has heard that. If your hair is dirty, it grows. If your scalp is dirty, it's growing. I'm not here to confirm or deny any of that. I just want to make sure you understand that washing your hair too much will dry it out is not necessarily true. Yes, there is a little bit of truth in that, and I'll explain. So if you are washing or cleansing your hair using harsh or shampoos that are stripping your hair of its natural oils, that means ones that are loaded with sulfates, then yes, that would create more dryness in your hair after you shampoo it, right? But the real problem is not the water, okay? The real problem with washing your hair frequently and it being dry is not necessarily the water, okay? Now, say that with pause because I know that sometimes there is hard water or different types of chemicals and things in the water that can affect your hair. 100% true. But if we're talking about just regular washing your hair and you've been doing it, and you don't normally have issues whenever you shampoo or cleanse your hair, the water is not the issue. Okay. Now, what should be happening after we wash it? Okay. Because water is our hair's best friend, especially if you have very kinky, coily, textured hair. Water is going to be your best friend. All right. Your strands need hydration. I don't know who's going around telling people that don't wash your hair too much. Your hair loves water. But if you don't know how to lock in that water, you wash your hair, towel dry it, and then go your day without sealing it, then yes, it's going to get dry. It's going to, the water and the hydration is going to evaporate very, very fast. Even faster if you have high porosity hair, okay? So the issue again is not about washing too much. It's about not having a proper follow-up routine that turns all of that beautiful water into moisture. So you need a process. I always say washing is cleansing, hydration is water, and moisturizing is sealing in that water. I know that's a lot to remember. Don't worry about it. But just know that how often to wash, what products you need to use, what to avoid, how to know what your hair needs. All of that stuff is dependent on your hair profile, okay? Your hair profile is going to tell you exactly all of the things that you need to know about your hair, the ingredients you should look for, the type of stuff you should buy. Again, we cover that in the Moisture Mastery course, okay? Again, I've linked that in the description below, so you can go ahead and sign up for that. The doors open for that class yesterday, I believe. And I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the live. I want to get through all the content first. Okay. So washing your hair isn't what's making it dry. It's not having a moisture plan after you wash it that leads to things like breakage, frizz, and all that midweek dryness that many of us deal with. So don't be afraid of water. And especially if you're wearing hair extensions, braids, weaves, I don't care. I don't care how you wear your hair. underneath your whatever style you're wearing, right? Make sure you are hydrating. That means your scalp and your hair needs water. When you got the braids in, especially if you have added hair in, um, the friction between your hair and that added hair, whether it's synthetic or human hair, doesn't matter. The friction creates more dryness. So you have to be diligent in making sure you keep your hair and scalp moisturized or hydrated. Okay. And especially when you have it up in a style, you're not cleansing it or washing it as often. So it's going to be very important to do that. All right. So again, don't be afraid of water. Do not be afraid of water. Now, moving on, I know that some of us, I talked about using oils and butters and that they don't moisturize. Okay, I understand that sometimes we use things like shea butter, argan oil, and things like that, not to moisturize necessarily, but to style our hair. So people that have like their twist outs and things like that, they use it just to keep their hair shiny, and that's fine. But here's the thing: if you're just doing that, you can't just do that and then complain your hair is dry. Water-based product has to be first, and then you can use your oil. And you should be doing that anyway because it just helps to keep your hair juicy and happy and hydrated. And when your hair is hydrated properly, then that reduces the chance of breakage. Okay, it reduces the chance of dryness and breakage, and that's what you don't want because a lot of us have the goal of hair growth. Okay, and remember, I know I'm kind of getting off topic here, but your hair is always growing. Your hair grows in a hair growth cycle. The problem is we don't retain length. So it isn't that our hair doesn't grow, it's typically that our hair doesn't retain length. Okay, so just remember that. Now, again, you can use your oils and butters to give your hair a little extra shine. I think that's great. But also don't skip the water. All right. You don't have if you don't have the issue of dry hair, then it's fine anyway. But if that is an issue that you struggle with, I need you to keep that in your head. You need two products. You need a water-based product and you need an oil-based product. You need to hydrate and you need to seal. That creates the moisture. All right. So there are, because I know we hear people talk about oils that moisturize. I probably have said it a few times, but I want you to understand this. There are a few oils that have a molecular structure where it's small enough to get inside or get in between the cuticle layers. Okay, it's a few of those. One of them is coconut oil. The only thing with coconut oil is it tends to be good for protein loss or for, restoring protein. But if you have a certain hair type, like specifically my people with low porosity hair, your hair is probably not going to like coconut oil. Okay. So just be aware of that. And then we have babassu oil, olive oil, avocado, and sunflower oil. Okay. I would stick with coconut oil if your hair likes that. The babassu oil is good. Olive oil, most people have in their home because if you have it to cook with, you can typically use it in your hair as well. But even those penetrating oils cannot replace water. I just wanted to throw that out there because I know that we've heard people talk about oils that moisturize. It's like it's on the fence. It's like a yes, it does, but no, it really doesn't. If you're in a pinch and that's all you got, then use that. But they don't replace water. Okay, water is a source of hydration, and those oils don't moisturize in the true sense. They can do things like replace protein loss, improve flexibility, slow water loss from the inside out. So when you put water in your hair, it's going to evaporate. What the oils and butters are doing is just slowing that process down. Okay. Everything else is just coating your hair. Okay. All the other oils and stuff are just coating. They're just coating your hair. They're not delivering hydration. Okay. And then my last little point, last but not least, I want to speak directly to my ladies in the 40 and up club. So when I say 40 and up, I mean 40, 50, 60, 70, it don't matter. you 40 and you up. You're 40 and over. Most of my community is. So I believe I'm speaking to my people. Um, I want you to realize that once we get to a certain age, I know dealing with our hair gets more frustrating. Um, it's changing. Okay, that's the best way I can put it. Your hair is changing, and it needs you to change with it. Behind the scenes, a lot of things are happening with us when we reach a certain age. Your scalp is producing less oil, your cuticle layer becomes weaker or less effective. Your styles don't last as long as or last like they used to. Um, so just remember, there's hormonal issues. We typically get under a lot of stress. We're on medications. Just a lot of things that are happening. And once you tap into that and realize that you can change your routine and your products to match. Okay, you can change your routine and your products effectively to match whatever your body's going through. Because remember, your hair is not separate from your body. Your hair is a part of your body. It's attached. So many times the things that's going on within us, it shows up in our hair. Or your hair is a mirror. All right. Remember that. Um, so sometimes we just need a gentle little approach. You can have healthy hair after 40. I've helped hundreds of women go from confused to having clarity about what their specific hair needs. Okay. Um, your hair routine is going to depend on the things that's going on with your hair specifically. And I do a lot of private coaching or private lessons because I can't get on here and address every single person's hair profile, right? It's going to vary. It's going to be based on so many different variables. And if we want to get down to specifically what your hair needs, um, you should know that information, okay? And then as your life begins to change, you know what things you should adjust. Um, so what else? I think that was it. So before we wrap up, I want to go a little bit deeper because I'm trying to get away from only talking about just products and back to what I said about how your hair is a mirror and the things that are going on within us in our own little world here, whether that's our mindset, our habits, our health, our nutrition, is going to show up in our hair. And I see again your hair as a mirror, as a portal. It's the thing that we see in the mirror, but it's also a reflection of what's going on inside. So healthy, moisturized hair isn't just about using products, it's about taking care of yourself. So you think about it, and this is just going to be some really quick tips and points because I can do an entire live on these specific things. But something as simple as, are you drinking enough water? Are you hydrated? We talked a lot about hydrating the hair, but is your body hydrated? Because hydration happens on the inside as well. Remember, your hair is growing from the inside of your body. Your hair growth doesn't start on the tip of your scalp. It starts inside of your body. Okay. So if you're hydrated on the inside, your hair will be too. Also, are you eating foods that truly nourish you, or are you skipping meals or eating whatever is quick? If you're skipping meals or you're not getting nutrient rich foods, your hair won't have what it needs to thrive. I mean, that's just basic science, basic biology. Okay. You get out of your body what you put into it. And that includes every process that your body does. And hair growth is a process, or it is a system of your body, or it is a cycle of your body. So it definitely needs care too. Um, and then on the days that we do our wash day, are we rushing through it like it's a chore? Or are we taking time and doing it intentionally and with care? Because that matters too. Okay. Again, our habits, our stress levels, our nutrition, all of these things show up in your hair. So if your life is dehydrated, ma'am, so your hair will be too. Now, again, one last thing about the Moisture Mastery course. It starts August. Ooh, what's today? Today is the 6th. So a week and a half. On the 18th, Moisture Mastery course starts. Um, I'm teaching you a lot. I'm teaching you a lot, and it's not just about moisture. We're talking about a lot of things, but mostly moisture. Okay. And it's going to be, again, a 3-day live teaching. I'm giving you information that you won't find here on the YouTube in my channel. Okay. Because we want to go really deep and really talk about mindset, habits, and nutrition as it relates to your moisture and some things that you should be doing to um, keep your hair healthy overall. If hair growth is something that you struggle with or something that you have as a goal, which I always say hair growth isn't a goal, but whatever, then moisture is definitely something you want to consider making sure you have tight in your routine. Okay. All right. So, wrapping it up, if you are tired of fighting dryness and you're ready to finally keep your hair soft and luscious all week long, or, from one wash day to the next, you can join me inside of that course. I've linked it below. Um, and that's it. I think that's it. Does anyone have any questions? If you have questions, you can leave them in the chat. We had a few people come and go, and that's fine. I do these lives at awkward times because I'm doing a lot of things throughout the day, so I have to jump on when it fits in my schedule at the moment. I understand that most people are probably at work or doing other things. I know that when I used to do lives like later in the evenings around 7 or 8, I think more people were settled down and ending their day. But yeah, that time doesn't work for me right now. I'm working on it. I'm working on trying to get back into doing these lives around that time. Now, the moisture mastery course will take place in the evenings. So I've already blocked off times for that. I think they start at 7, so it'll be about 45 minutes to an hour, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Packed with lots of information. There will be worksheets, there'll be homework, there'll be a lot of interaction. So it's not just you all coming and listening to me talk, okay? Because y'all know I could talk about hair all night, but it will be more interactive and you'll get to answer or ask some specific questions, okay? So I think that's it. So this is what we covered in today's live. It's why your hair is still dry, even though you're using oils, okay? Remember, oil is not moisture. Oil is not moisture. Moisture is not a product. Moisture is a process, okay? The only thing oil does is seal in water or seal in the hydration or make your hair look shiny. You can use oil as a styling tool or whatever, but it is not moisture, okay? Water is the main form of hydration. It's really the only thing that can truly get inside of your hair strands in your cuticles to keep your hair hydrated. And then to keep that water from evaporating, you use use oil-based ingredients to lock the water in. Hydration is a product, moisture is a process, okay? We covered some myths. Washing your hair too much makes it dry. That's not entirely true. Washing your hair too much without sealing in that water is what makes it dry, not necessarily the water. Water is your friend. Your hair loves water. Every part of your body loves hydration, just like your skin, your scalp, your hair. All your body loves water. Okay, so your hair is no different. What else? And then the changes that our hair makes after we reach a certain age. This can affect any of your hair issues, whether that's growth, whether that's moisture, whether that's thinning, whether that's shedding, whether that's bald spots, whether that's your edges won't grow back, whether that's alopecia, different types of hair loss diseases or diseases that cause hair loss. One thing that's going on right now, a lot of women are on the Ozempic, and that sudden or quick weight loss can also cause hair loss. Okay, so anytime you have rapid weight loss, that can also affect your hair growth cycle because it throws your hair growth cycle out of whack, and also because you're not getting any nutrients. Most of the time when we're on those diets, we're not eating at all. We're starving ourselves. Okay. So if you're starving your body, you're starving your hair too. Those nutrients that your body isn't getting, your hair isn't getting them either. And then again, other changes like your scalp produces less oil, your cuticle layer becomes less effective, all the things. Okay. And then to go deeper in all of that, remember everything that's going on in our body or in our world affects our hair. So, are you getting enough water, the right foods? Are you stressed? Um, are you skipping meals? All the things I just mentioned can create issues with your hair. Remember, your hair is a mirror, it reflects everything that goes on inside of you. Okay. Again, Moisture Mastery Live starts in almost 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks. And it's a 3-day course where you'll get tons and tons and tons and tons of information that's going to help you on your hair moisture journey. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Remember, as always, you deserve hair that's healthy and growing. It is my mission to help you get there. Thank you all again so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one.